When you're working with a celebrity, you have to be mentally prepared.
So working with Nayanthara, how did it happen?
She is one of those icons, a makeup icon, where she knows everything. And you have to have the most neutral aura. You shouldn't take your baggage to work at that time. I've worked with some amazing actresses who are really big now, who have very dry skin because of the travel and all of that. So when you apply makeup the first time, it's not sitting properly, and you want to make sure it sits properly. Once the skin starts to breathe, once your pores open, that's when you start to notice the makeup cracking. Some people have poreless, flawless skin. It's like dolphin skin, and the makeup just doesn't sit very well on them.
So do you have a union card for working in movies?
I was not able to get the South Indian card because women can't be a part of the South Indian union over here. It's so insanely backward. As a woman makeup artist, men in the production industry don't like talking to me.
So let's talk about the payment culture which is existing.
Wonderful topic. When it comes to contracts, when it comes to the movie industry, it doesn't always stand up. There is usually a 60-day, very grueling credit period you have to wait for. I've driven away from set or from work after a long day, and I've just burst out crying, and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying. Really, the mental exhaustion is crazy, and people are usually used to seeing the social media aspect of it, which is very glamorous, which is very fun.
So is there a difference of approach when you do makeup for men, especially your work with Dhoni, Jadeja, all the top cricketers?
There's this term called hero makeup.
Okay, what is that? Today's episode is one of the most fun and informative episodes. We have Sneha, who's a self-taught makeup artist, and she is someone who's very confident about her craft. Sneha has worked with celebrities like Nayanthara, Meenakshi Chowdhury, Nazriya, and more. And especially if you are a self-taught or an upcoming makeup artist, this episode is going to be a treat for you. Also, I want to say one more thing. 80% of your viewers who are watching our show regularly haven't yet subscribed. So can I ask you a favor? If you like our show, if you like what we do here, the easy and simple way to support us is by hitting the subscribe button. And my commitment to you is we'll do everything in our part to bring more such makeup artists to our show every month. Enjoy the show. So traditionally, when makeup artists enter into the field, they start with bridal and fashion makeover. Then they'll get into upgrading themselves for SFX. But in your case, it happened opposite. So what was the thought process behind it? So you started with SFX, then got into bridal makeovers.
Yes,
Mm.
you've done your research. Not a lot of people know about that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I started with special effects because I watched this show called The Walking Dead,
Okay.
and I was really interested with like the zombies and that
Mhm.
aspect of it.
Mhm.
And then I did some research on YouTube,
Mm.
and I looked into how to create zombie skin and all of that. And then from there, it was just like a domino effect of
Mhm.
trying to find the products and stealing my mom's foundation and tissue paper and like glue to just make latex because at that
Okay.
time I didn't know what latex was.
Mhm.
And then just doing so much research into it.
Mm.
After that, in like a year or two, so basically, I started in school with theater makeup,
Mm.
and then it went into like special effects
Okay.
makeup now. So theater makeup is much louder than bridal or
Okay.
beauty
Mm.
makeup. And then
This was in Dubai.
yes, this was all in
Okay.
Dubai. And then in Dubai, when I was going to college, I saw that Halloween was really big. And
Okay.
that's fun
Mm.
because you're in a predominantly Muslim country, but it's so diverse
Mm.
that Halloween was so famous. And I would work with a lot of artists. And because I would post on social media, like just random things I do on myself, people would hire me and I'd be like, oh, that's fun. Like I get to go
Okay.
and
Mm.
paint faces and get paid for it.
Mm.
So that was a lot of fun. So researching about what products are skin safe because one thing I've noticed is people just think you can just use paint on your skin.
Mm.
No,
No.
there's actually skin safe paint and a lot of products that are skin safe
Mm.
versus what's not skin safe.
Mm.
That's toxic for skin and all of that. So doing that research, getting into it, following a lot of artists and just like asking them, can I come assist you? Is there anything I can do? And all
Okay.
of that. So
Mm.
just being open to that and having absolutely no ego.
Mm.
That's how I started.
Okay.
And just going for a lot of shows, fashion shows.
Okay.
And then it went into bridal.
Okay. But did you learn it from any institute?
No, I
No.
never had the time. I'm
Oh,
an
okay.
architect.
So,
So I spent 5
Oh.
years doing
Mhm.
architecture.
So you
And
self-learned
I'm
SFX makeup.
self-taught,
Okay.
but I did have some amazing makeup artists that I could assist in
Mhm.
Dubai. And I learned from them.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So what are the advantages of learning SFX makeup? How does that help you in bridal and fashion makeup?
One major way it helped is learning colors.
Mhm.
Because when you do special effects makeup, you work with a lot more colors than you would with traditional
Traditional
makeup.
makeup.
And with that, you also learn a lot of undertones
Mm.
because you're trying to create the look of skin with blood, with texture and all of that. And then you learn how to do that even with traditional makeup. So if you give me a color palette with just primary colors or secondary colors, I know how to get skin tone. And when I say skin tone, it's not just beige, right? There's different tones in skin.
Correct,
There's a
correct.
range of colors. There's blush tones, all of that. So just that, it helps in that. It helps with speed.
Oh, okay. How come?
Mostly speed, because when you work with special effects products, you're working with flammable products. You're working with products that are a little, how do I say, like raw products compared to a formulated MAC
Correct, correct.
foundation. You're working with things where you have to mix component A and component
Okay,
B. So
okay.
you have to give it specific amount of time to set or to react in a certain way. Or if it's like liquid latex or if it's silicone, you need to apply it. If it's liquid latex, you need to apply heat or air to let it dry and all of that. So it helped with time. You need to be
Okay.
fast, especially when it comes to doing makeup for 100 people.
Mm,
You have a
mm.
very short amount of time. You need to make sure you're working efficiently and really
Okay,
fast, getting through all of that. Because that also led me to do fashion makeup. So backstage for fashion weeks and fashion shows and all that. And you do it like really fast because you don't have
Correct,
time to
correct,
sit and
correct.
think of, should I do a wing liner? Should I do this? No, you have to do it when
So
the
was this
designer-
all predetermined or on the spot? It is determined on the spot. The
looks
fashion
for
make looks for fashion
weeks?
makeup.
No, they will come with a mood board. The designers will come with a mood board saying, this is what our outfit is. This is what the makeup lead has come up
Okay.
with for looks. And then you just follow the makeup lead. They'll
Which
tell
is
you
on the
like,
day of the.
on the day, on the location, they'll be like, this is the look.
Okay.
Created.
Okay.
So we'll be given models from every race, from every skin tone,
Correct,
skin
correct.
texture, everything, hair texture, all of that. And we have to create it. They will have, sometimes they have a makeup sponsor, so you have to use those products or you use your kit. And if you use your kit, each artist has a different kit. So you'll have to like either work with them or just do it yourself and figure out how to get that look. Because if they say it's a smoky eye with black works on some people, a smoky eye with brown works on.
But it should be
other
uniform
people.
across the entire
Exactly.
lineup.
It should
Okay.
look really uniform. And it shouldn't look like one person looks like they have more blush on
Okay.
just because it suits them. No, it has to be uniform.
So there is a makeup head who will oversee
There
all
is
this.
always a key makeup artist or a lead makeup artist who'll come up with the look. They'll either work with the designer or they'll work with the fashion week organizers,
Okay.
or it'll be the sponsor.
Mm,
So
mm,
if Illamasqua is the product sponsor, basically, then the lead makeup artist of Illamasqua will come and say, this is the makeup look.
Okay.
And then they'll tell us, all the artists, that this is the
Okay.
look that you want to do.
Okay. What was the difference that you found with Dubai fashion shows and Madras Couture Fashion Week? Because you worked in both, right?
Time management.
Okay.
Mostly that. So I was used to working really fast and with the designers calling the shots and no one else calling the shots. And it was always more editorial looks. It was never, it was very
It was always
rarely-
editorial in Dubai, right?
Yes. It
Okay.
was very like either stripped back, bare skin, very minimal looks, or it was editorial. It was never bridal. So this was working in India for fashion shows was more bridal-esque.
Okay.
So they would want like a golden smoky eye with red lips, and I'd be like, okay. I mean, if that's what the designer wants, you have to give them that at the end of the day. But that's not what the designer wants. It's usually someone else.
Which is more hectic for you? Is it working in Dubai or in Chennai?
Oh, each one has its
Own
own
thing. Okay.
thing. I had to just get into, because it was a culture shock for me in a way that I went from a very structured, like the shoot timing is from 9 to 5. That means you have this much time to do makeup, you do it, and then you go shoot. Over here, what I've realized is people like to take tea breaks,
Okay.
smoke breaks, just breaks. And I'm not used to that. I just like to work and finish the work. And if we're
Correct.
wrapping early, that's great, but I want to make sure that the work is done.
Mm.
And here, I've just with work, I've realized one person will come do the work and then they leave. They'll do their job and leave. So at some point, even I fell into that category of like, I'll do the makeup and I'll leave. Because I realized here, they also fall into that thing of like collaboration, which is unpaid.
Mm.
So
So their time is really valuable. So they'll come and they'll
yes,
leave.
Exactly.
Okay.
The time is valuable. And if you're not gonna, because I've worked with designers and just production units where you're not given even the credit that you did the makeup.
Okay.
So I was like, why do I have to be there for longer than if I'm not getting paid, if I'm not getting the credits, if I'm not going to be able to take BTS and post it also because you have a specific vision in mind?
Okay.
That's really a waste of my time.
But then that's not your work, right? Even if you can't
It's
post.
not. And this is where being really like alert helps you. There have been times where I've wanted to work with a certain actress or a model or a certain designer or even a certain photographer. And I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. But then you go to set and you're like,
Why did I come here?
Yeah, you would be like, why did I waste my time coming here? But then you've shown up, you have to do the work. If
Okay.
you've committed to something, you do it.
But then, what was the work culture difference compared to Mumbai? I mean, sorry, Dubai to Chennai.
In Dubai, I feel like I really didn't have to network as much as over here.
Okay. So how does it work then? How do people
No,
know?
you do network,
Mm.
but over there are agencies that take over a lot.
Mm,
And here
mm.
in the south, there aren't any agencies. It's not that there are no. It's not that there are very few. There are no agencies when it comes to this.
In India also it is there, but I don't think
Yes,
anything
there are.
particularly for makeup is
No,
there.
now there is in Mumbai. There is the collective agency. There's TAP. There's quite a few that's there. But again, they are a very like gatekeepy type of group
Oh,
of
okay.
people.
Okay.
So
Do you think is it because they don't let South Indians or not like that?
no, there are quite a few South Indians in that group itself. But see, I've
all-
tried being a part of the agencies and
Okay,
I've just
okay.
been seen zoned. So it's
Okay.
not been fun.
Not only for you, even for me.
yeah,
so
yeah. So it's not been fun.
we don't even know what the criteria is. So
I don't know what the criteria is either because I've seen artists who don't have the experience who are in the agency, and I'm like, guys, I want to be a part of it. Like, you realize I can make you money,
Correct.
and I'm willing to work
Okay.
for you. But I guess like they have some criteria,
kind
and
of
I don't know
criteria.
what it is.
Okay.
Maybe you
okay.
need like see in Mumbai and all of that networking really gets you places, and because I don't have that much of a connect, and when I say connect, I mean I'm not there going for the parties, and I don't have the friends who,
Correct.
of friends of friends, or I didn't grow up here. That's one main thing I've noticed in India is your college friends, your school friends are the ones who are making these agencies and who are friends with the people who made the agencies. So since I don't have that connect, it's been a little hard.
So working with Nayantara, so how did it happen? So it in itself is a big thing, and working for a skincare brand, that is also a big thing, because while you're working for a skincare brand, the makeup should be really flawless, especially when videos are involved. So how did it happen to you?
So working with Nayantara ma'am was not by fluke at all. I'd worked for her movie. I worked from like the
Kan-
production this thing for the movies that her husband has produced, and so that makes you fall in the radar where the ADs notice and all of that. So the first thing I'd done is work for her wedding movie for the designer for Jade by MK.
Okay.
So I'd worked for one of the designers for that. And then that turned into a movie, which was Connect.
Connect, but you were doing SFX makeup.
Yes. So which means I fell into Vicky Sir's radar and then Parvati's radar. Now, Parvati is one of the main people that work with Nayantara ma'am.
Okay,
She is
okay.
basically almost her second hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how she's like living, sleeping, eating, doing any of that because she does so much back to back and she's always traveling. So once you fall into Parvati's radar, then she just like tells you like, hey, there's this shoot. Will you be available? Now, the thing with me is I don't put my phone down ever. So
Okay.
I'll be bathing and she'll call and she'll tell me, we need someone tomorrow. I'll be like, "Oh, okay, sure. Like, I'm not going to like I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm bathing right now. No, I'll just be like, okay, sure. I'll pick up the call. Like, I'll be in any important situation. And if someone calls, I'll be like, yeah, sure. So I've tried to not do that anymore.
Okay.
But that's basically how we built the relationship. And then they were like, we need someone for this shoot. And me and my friend Asta, we did the makeup for her. But here's a fun fact. She is one of those icons, a makeup icon, where she knows everything when it
Okay.
comes to makeup. So she does her own makeup for everything. So she has a hairstylist, Seemaji, who works for her, but then she does her own makeup for almost everything. And the person who used to do her makeup in all the previous movies that she's done it was Raju sir,
Okay.
who is her manager.
Oh.
And he is literally the most, you wouldn't assume that he knows makeup, but he'll just come and he'll like look, he's like this older, bald man. He'll
Okay.
come and he'll stand and he'll look at the kit and be like, Dior. And I'm like, you know Dior? And he's like, yeah, where do you get it? I'm like, I got it. And you just start talking about makeup. He's like, I did the makeup for her in this other Ajit movie, this, that. And I'm like, wait, what? So he is the one who created all those really iconic looks.
Okay.
Billa is the movie where everyone was like, oh my God, she looks so cool. Now that he's the one who created that look, all that Nayantara glow, he's the one who made all of that. And just learning from him the behind the scenes secrets and how he created that and all was really fun. But yeah, so working for the skincare line, it was fun. She did most of her own makeup. But the thing is, we were shooting on the beach and it was really hot.
Okay.
And she is someone, I love her work ethic because I can resonate with it. She just wants to get the work done. She knows time is money. She knows everyone is on set to get that one thing done. So she will be there and make sure she doesn't waste anyone's time, and she
Okay.
doesn't want anyone wasting her
Mm.
time. So some people might view it as, oh, she's so bossy. Yes, you have to be bossy. You're
Mm.
wasting your time. She's wasting her money
Correct.
if you're
Mm.
going to do absolutely nothing. So she's going to make sure you get 100% value out of what you're investing. And I went there, did the work, and I could just, like, when that spirit of collaboration is there, you just want to be there on set all the time, making sure everything runs smoothly. And that was a great experience. Every time I work with her, the aura, everything is amazing.
Okay, fine. So I also want to pick on one question. You told me that ADs should notice you as a makeup artist. Is that a big factor for you to
It
get
helps.
to do makeup for a bigger celebrities?
It really helps either the manager or the AD,
Okay.
because they're the ones scouring social media. They're the ones, the younger ones basically, who are on social media, who go through all of these things. So once they notice you, it really helps for them to put your word in, to put your name into that circle, into that meeting, into
Correct,
that conference and all of that. Because I've been there, hung out with other people where they're like, your name came up in this room. And I'm like, oh,
Okay.
that's awesome. Like, I never knew these people would, like, in the Indian industry, it's in the Kerala industry, they'll be like, they spoke about your work. And I'm like, the Kerala industry knows
Okay.
my work? That's pretty cool. And people like, like certain actors and all of that, and actresses who've brought up my name. And I'm like, these people, I grew up watching their movies. What do you mean?
Okay.
So that's pretty cool that they've seen either the reel or something like that. And it all really comes down to who's showing it to them. Could be
Exactly.
an AD, because who's the AD? They're the person who is like constantly with the actor, or it could be the manager.
Okay.
So yeah.
I also have this one question. Do you happen to have time for redos, or do you have to get it right on the first go? Like when you work for big celebrities like this?
There have been times where you don't have time for a redo. You have to work with it. You have to fix this thing on the spot. But there are times where you do the makeup, and then the skin, because they're traveling all the time. The skin is not always in the best shape, and they try their hardest. I've worked with some amazing actresses who are really big now, who have very dry skin because of the travel and all of that. It takes a lot out on their skin. So when you apply makeup the first time, it's not sitting properly, and you want to make sure it sits properly, because some products might not work well with their skin, some work well. And not only that, you don't know what products they're already using, if it's retinol based, if it's retinoid based, if they're on any medication or anything like that, because that really affects makeup. People might think, oh, but it's just surface level. No, there's so much more that goes into it, because once the skin starts to breathe, once your pores open, that's when you start to notice the makeup cracking, getting patchy and all of that. And you're not always going to be available to do a touch up. They could be on stage giving a press conference. You can't go up on stage and like do a touch up at that moment. So you have to make sure the makeup is probably. So at that time, yes, you can request for a little bit of time to correct the mistake. But otherwise, in my opinion,
it's not mistake per se for redoing, I guess.
Yes, in my opinion, don't let anyone do. Just quickly fix it, because they don't need to know that you've messed up. They don't always have. Some of them, yes, always have a mirror in their face, and they tell you this. But that's sometimes annoying, but sometimes so helpful, because I'm standing at this level and looking at them. I might not notice all of that. So it's very helpful when they also have the mirror and they're looking and they're letting you know. But you should also not have that ego to be like, I know what I'm doing. This looks good. You should be like, okay, cool, I'll fix that for you. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to make them look good, and you're trying to make sure your work is good enough.
Okay, fine. And how do you work on such short notice? That now you told me, right? Like you're picking the call.
Yeah. So there have been.
Should you be, as an artist, should you be always available for the work?
It sucks, because yes, as a makeup artist, makeup is almost always an afterthought when it comes to shoots.
They'll inform you at the very last minute.
They will call me last minute. They will call me like today morning and be like, hey, we need you at 9 a.m. They'll call me at 7 a.m. and be like, I need you at 9 a.m. And it's impossible in some positions, because there have been times where I've had the opportunity to work with some insane people. And I've not been able to do it, because the thing is, in India, people like to start movie shoots on Muhurtam dates. What are Muhurtam dates? Good days.
Correct.
So that sucks for me, because I'm already booked for a bridal, and movie shoots start from 6 a.m. for makeup artists till like either 6 p.m. or it'll go all the way to 10 p.m. So I'm not able to be there on set. And they don't want someone who's going and coming.
Okay.
Unless your team is going to be available on set. I've worked for movies where my team is there and then I go and come and all of that. But again, really depends on the actor and actress, and the top actors and actresses don't want to take that risk. So
So you're telling that on that Muhurtam date, on the puja, you have to be there for you to be in that entire movie, or is it something like
No,
that?
no, no. So the shoot days, so the scheduled days literally fall on
All on the
Muhurtam
Muhurtam
days
dates.
because those are the good
Okay,
dates, and
correct,
actors
correct.
want to work only on those good days. Not only just actors, production. They will
Mm-hmm.
schedule it such that it's only on good days. So
Correct,
if
correct.
Muhurtam dates are there, they'll pick those dates, and I'm like, I have to forego.
You're only one person. You can't go.
I can't. I'll
Yeah.
tell you why. Because yes, there are other artists who'll be like, I'm sending my team.
Mm.
I don't fully trust another person because I'm such a micromanager. I would rather be there
Mm.
on set and make sure everything runs well. Also, because there are people who say, I'll send my team, they'll send a junior artist. That is also an artist. You need to make sure that they get either paid or credited
Correct,
fairly, and
correct.
not always,
Mm.
that doesn't always happen. And I
Okay.
don't think that's fair as an artist. I don't feel like that's fair
Mm.
because I've been in that position. So I try not to.
But for makeup, I feel it is difficult to send your team. I think you have to be there, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
For stylist or costume designing, it works. I don't think for makeup
You can't
to.
remotely handle the situation for sure. But there have been times where I've been able to give it to my peers,
Mm.
other makeup artists who I know will be able
So
to
kind of
handle
you.
it. Because what else? Like, if I'm not able to be there, I would much rather have someone I trust to know who does the work very well on the
Mm.
situation, who can handle it. And I'm also someone who,
But trust me, there are people who will tell, I don't know anyone.
yes, yes, I have seen that,
Mm.
and that really sucks. But like, why gatekeep? Honestly, that's like
Yes.
my biggest thing. Why are
Mm.
you gatekeeping the industry? You're
Mm.
trying to work towards one specific goal. You want to produce the best content.
Correct.
Why don't you do that? It
Mm.
doesn't matter if your name is there on that thing or not. If you're able to help them, help them. That's
And I feel like
my-
it will get back. Karma will get back.
it
You-
will, it really
Mm.
will, because there are so many cases where I've recommended artists,
Mm.
and those artists have in the future recommended me, and I
Yes.
love that. I
Mm.
love that, keeping that very positive cycle going instead of being so negative and being like, if I'm not available, no, I don't know anyone else. I'll always ask at least minimum 5 different artists if they're available. If none of them are available, is only when I'll go tell them
Okay.
I'm not
Mm.
sure,
Mm.
but hey, there are others also, but I'm not sure about their work.
So is there a difference of approach when you do makeup for men? Especially you have worked with Dhoni, Jadeja, all the top cricketers, no?
There is quite a bit of a difference when it comes to doing makeup for women and men. One of the main things is facial hair.
Mm.
Some of them like to keep their facial hair, some of them don't. And also the facial contours, the
Mhm.
facial features are there. You want to make certain people either appear softer,
Mhm.
or there's this term called hero makeup that's
Okay,
used,
what is that?
which is basically making the person look brighter.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot more makeup
So
used.
there's
There's
still
a
that
lot more-
trend.
that trend is still there, and
Okay.
it. I won't say it sucks, but it's there
Mm,
because
mm,
you're trying to make the main character look like the main
mm,
character.
mm, mm.
If you see in certain movies or in certain shows, the side characters' makeup will be a lot duller
Mhm,
than the main
mm,
character.
mm.
So this is a thing that's actually happening, and this is also quite an East versus West kind of thing,
Correct.
because over here this is a little more prevalent than
There. Okay.
any other part of the world.
Okay. So what about men's makeup now? So
So men's makeup, you have to look mostly at facial hair and pores, because very rarely do men. Now, when it comes to athletes, not all of them have like a very good skincare routine, because
okay.
that's not their job. Some
Correct.
of them do. When it comes to actors, they have great skincare routine. Some of them don't. So you have to look into texture, because it's a lot rougher, their skin. Some of them have great skin, and it's such an amazing thing working on their skin.
Who was
You're
that?
looking suddenly, if you ask
No,
me.
I want to know who's the one male actor who's male.
One male actor who has really good skin that I've worked with, that off the top of my this thing, is Siddhartha.
Okay.
He's just coming up. He's in this movie, Dhanush's movie Neek.
Okay. Okay.
He has great skin,
Okay.
and he looks after his skin. Like, it doesn't take too much also for men to look after their skin,
Mm.
or to keep themselves groomed. Pick a good doctor who knows how to help your skin, who knows how to help you from within also,
Okay.
so that the makeup artist doesn't have to struggle too much and doesn't have to be told he looks like he has too much makeup on. No, that much makeup is sometimes required to cover up the fact that they've either not slept, or they've drunk too much, or they've smoked too much, or
Okay.
they've all of that. So yes, it really varies from person to person. But mostly it's that, and then the lips. Because one thing I've noticed is a lot of actors smoke quite a bit. So they have like the smokers, the
Okay.
darkness. So you have to fix that. Yeah.
How was working with Dhoni?
It was amazing. So he is such a kind human. when people say that, you just assume, oh, he's so nice to like animals and children. No, it really depends on the frequency at which you vibrate with, right? He is so professional. He will sit there and be so very simple and grounded with you when you're doing your work. He's not going to throw up his I am Dhoni. Like literally, it's not that he's such an amazing cricketer or such an amazing human. He is so down to earth. He'll sit there very quietly, let you do your work. He'll try to make small talk because,
Okay.
like I said, I'm not very good at talking. I'll sit there very silently in the corner of the room, being like, okay, cool. I just want to be a fly on the wall. But then he'll try engaging in
Oh,
conversation, and it's not awkward conversation because trust me, I've worked with actors and athletes who make it very awkward, who are not the best at conversing with women
Okay.
because they are completely fine with treating men as a fly on the wall or
Okay,
talking to
okay,
men,
okay.
but women they're not always comfortable with. And this is just a men's situation.
Okay.
So, but him, it was amazing. It was so seamless. You felt like you were part of an important project, whether you were just a makeup artist or a stylist or someone just gaffing.
Correct.
You knew that you were included in a project, and that's so important. Very few people can make you feel that way.
Correct. That's the aura these people carry, I guess.
Exactly.
So when you do makeup for a wide variety of people like DJ Bravo to Sam Billings, should your vanity is also be filled with lot of products?
Yes, that is essential as a makeup artist, that you cater to a versatile crowd. Yes, you have to be ready, but in most scenarios, it's also best to do your homework because you might assume that a person is either darker than they are or fairer than they are, or might have texture, might not have texture. Because when you do research, especially when I work with celebrities, it's the easiest for me to just go through Google, to go through their Instagram and see what their hair, the length of their hair is, what kind of facial features they have, what the skin is like, the skin tone is like, what makeup they've had done before, what you can elevate in terms of that and all of that. In some cases, I also do take it and I like physically draw it on like my iPad to see, will a winged liner look good for this, or will this color suit them and all of that. So you have to make sure the kit is for the client, like the kit is designed for the client. In some situations, there you have certain products that will cater to the darkest to the lightest color, and from the most vibrant color to the most dark color. So when it comes to liquids, creams, powders, you need to make sure you have all your colors in place.
All right. You were doing bridal makeup and fashion makeover, right? What was that one transition point that you got into working with celebrities? I believe your first shoot was with Ritika Singh. No. Okay.
So I've worked, like I said, for Fashion Weeks quite a bit in Dubai. So when I did that, I also got to work with Toifa. It's basically like an Indian Film Awards thing that happens in Dubai where celebrities come from here. So I worked with quite a few celebrities over there from the Indian industry. That helped me gain the confidence to work with them because I was literally 20, 21 years old working with massive celebrities, not knowing what comes with that. There's quite a bit of baggage that comes with that. Because when you're working with a celebrity, when I say celebrity, it could be an actor, actress, production, owner of like the Indian, this thing of Prime, Amazon Prime, anything. When it comes to actors and actresses, you have to be mentally prepared to work with them. When I say that, I mean you have to have the most neutral aura. You have to be so neutral in your vibe. You shouldn't take your baggage to work at that time. You have to be so relaxed and just make sure they're comfortable and all of that. So working earlier in Dubai for the awards ceremonies and all that helped me over here. One of my first shoots actually over here one of my first things was with A.R. Rahman sir.
Oh, really? Okay.
He came up with this amazing idea of a virtual reality movie.
Okay.
And I'd worked with Andrea Jeremiah and all of that for that. So that was one of my firsts over here.
So after that only you worked with Ritika Singh?
Yes, Ritika's was much after
later.
All of this. Before that I'd worked with quite a few. During COVID I'd worked with Atmika and all of that. But I never got the work.
And one particular shoot that I want to mention is that Madhuri shoot with Anita Kamraj. That became a big trend actually.
Yes, that was such a fun shoot. So I came up with the concept of that and I made like a very haphazard mood board and I sent it to Anita and I was like, let's do this shoot.
So you were the one who curated the mood board?
Yes, I curated the whole mood board for that and I was like, I want to do this because that was also around the time when Janhvi Kapoor came out with her very Apsara-esque this thing. So I was like, I really want to do this. And Madhuri also had gotten in touch saying, hey, let's do a shoot. So I was like, okay, I have the model. Will you be on board with this, Anita? Because I only trust Anita to pull out this kind of work. She's like, yeah, sure. I was like, okay, that was easy. So I pulled my hairstylist Nehmat in also, and I was like, give me like really long hair.
Mm.
We'll look after the draping part of it, because I didn't know anything when it comes to outfits. And I was like, I don't know a single stylist here who will do this for me.
Okay.
So we just were like, I asked Madhuri, go get whatever fabric you want. We'll handle it. So she went and got this white long satin fabric, and we were like, okay, we'll drape it this way.
So you were the
draped-
one
yeah,
who
so
did
we
the
draped
draping.
it.
Okay.
However, we did the jewelry. My main focus was only that I wanted the ear chains.
Mm,
That was
mm,
my
mm.
like aha moment, where I was like, okay, I really like the ear chain look. So I wanted the entire look surrounded around just that.
Mm.
People might look at it as a picture in whole and be like, oh my God, it's such a like Indian princess look. But my main thing was really just ear chains, because I'm
Okay.
obsessed with ear chains and the very like feminine look that you get with
Correct.
that.
Correct.
So that was like that was one of the main points for my entire look. Even if you see in the mood board, the ear chain is the main thing that
Okay.
I've like pointed out to. And then I went and picked up the ear chain. I was like, okay, look, we have to do this look. It should be like this. We brought it together. Vasant and Anita were there. They were like, cool, let's try this. We tried so many different versions of it.
Okay.
And then it popped off. It
Yeah.
was all through Pinterest. Like I can still open Pinterest, and that's
Yes,
one of
yes,
the
yeah.
first
One of the
few
first
images
few.
that shows up.
Mm.
And I'm like, I was behind that. And it's so fun to do that, because now, not now, actually, it's been a few years now. Directors will show Madhuri that look and be like, I want, this is the aesthetic for the look. And she's like, that's me. So that's so fun,
Uh-huh.
because even in all those like cute Instagram edits of like Indian aesthetic female Apsara goddess looks, this is one of the photos that shows up. And I'm like, oh my God, that's like my work showing up on this.
Correct.
So it's very fun.
It's good to see your work in Pinterest. Even one of my work has gone to Pinterest.
Yeah,
so
it's so
really
amazing.
good. Yeah.
It's really nice to see that people enjoy that. And I love being on Pinterest, because it's made for creatives,
Yes.
by
yeah.
creatives.
So do you have a union card for working in
I-
movies?
Yes. So I have a Mumbai union card,
Mm.
but this union card that I got was literally 2,000 rupees. And I got
Really?
it. Yes,
Okay.
I got it for the sake of getting a union card, because one of the first movies that not one of the first movies, the third or fourth movie that I worked with, the production unit were like, you need a union card. Get this union card just to like keep people quiet, because the union in South India was creating quite an issue for this. Number one, that we were females on set doing makeup, and we did not like hearing that because we're not like the quite demure type females.
Correct.
We were like, oh, so what if we're working on set? You come and talk to us. But they all spoke Tamil, and we're like, we don't understand, and we can't speak.
So you pretended like you are a Mumbai car.
No, we didn't have to do that also, because we can't speak Hindi either. So we just went and sat in the car. They were like, just go sit in the car for 5 minutes. Don't create an issue right now. We were like, okay, cool. We went and sat. The production looked after it. And then we just signed up for the card, and the card came. They're like, this is not the actual card. The actual card costs about 2 lakhs. Now, I still don't have the actual Mumbai card. But I've told my other junior artists to get it, because then they're working on like Rowdy Pictures, like productions and all of that. So all the movies coming out now, not all the movies, like LIK and like mostly Pradeep Ranganathan movies and all that, I have my team looking after that.
Okay.
But for me personally, I was not able to get the South Indian card, because women can't be a part of the
Correct,
South Indian like union
Of
over
course.
here, which really sucks. When I say South Indian, I mean mostly the Tamil union. You can either get a hairstylist card, or if there's like a strongly worded letter, then maybe
Okay.
you can get the card.
This is the same in Telugu industry also. It's not like only in Tamil industry.
Yes, and that really sucks.
Yes. Of
It's
course.
so rude and it's so mean, because then they'll be like, it's not just a male dominated field. Actually, it is, you're letting only men in. You're
Right.
letting only men have the union card, and that's not very progressive of you.
Correct.
You're producing.
That too in 2025, this is so backward thoughts, right?
It's so insanely backward. Like even in the Kerala film industry, there are female makeup artists, and the union there does allow it, but they don't pay them. There's no job security. There was literally
Oh,
a strike last
okay.
month where 3 women went on strike for this, because they were treated so inhumanely.
Oh, okay.
It's basic human requirements to have a washroom on set, or film close to where there is a washroom that's usable. Yes, it's easier to have men on set, because they can just piss anywhere and be more adjusting.
Okay.
But that just proves how little you think of other humans.
Correct.
If you have an actress on set, you're going to cater to her. That same way, why can't you cater to a female cinematographer or a female gaffer or anything like that? It's
Yeah.
not really that hard to
Mm.
make a few things. You're
Correct.
getting paid in lakhs and crores. Putting one washroom isn't going to drain you
In
of
your budget.
anything, trust me. I'm so glad for one thing that I had, which was my car.
Okay.
Because that was almost my safe space in so many other production units
Okay,
I've been a
okay.
part of. But
You'll just
Rowdy,
run back to your car.
I'll just run back to my car if
Okay.
I'm not feeling comfortable. Rowdy Pictures, thankfully, is one production unit that makes sure everyone is safe.
Mm.
It's very professional. It's amazing. I've been part of other production units where it's really not very safe for women to be on
Correct.
set. And it sucks because why would you create such an unsafe environment for women specifically,
Correct.
or such a environment where there's no balance or equality? And when I say equality, I mean men can literally walk around in like their lungis and their
Okay.
dhotis or just in shorts, but God forbid I dress like this and go to work. Oh my God.
So you'll have any creative liberties in SFX makeup, or you'll be given a certain mood board and asked to stick to the.
So this really depends on the director and the writer you're working
Mm-hmm.
with. You need to be able to, as a makeup artist in general, whether it's special effects or normal, character creation is one of the
Correct.
topics that you have to handle. That means you have to read between the lines. When the writer or director comes to you with a
Okay.
script, you have to read between the lines. You can't just be like, okay, she was a corporate woman who worked a 9 to 5. Okay, what kind of company did she work with? What was her personality beyond just being a corporate person? The When it comes to creating a character, it really depends on you as an artist to fall in the same like aesthetic as the director and the writer.
Correct.
Right? So when it comes to special effects creation, if you're going to take a ghost, there's so many different types of ghosts. It could be from a very gory type of ghost, like how we did in Connect, or it could be like a Kanchana level, very like comedic type
Okay.
of ghost, right? So it really depends on the vision that the director and the writer have. Apart from this, when it comes to character creation, some of the easiest examples I can give you is this Hindi movie called What's Your Rashi. They had Priyanka Chopra play 12 different women. Each one is of each horoscope. And they wanted to portray her as someone, I might get this wrong, but when they wanted to portray the Libra horoscope, it was a businesswoman. Now, how do you look
Okay.
at a businesswoman? Always, if it's any female in the corporate industry, it'll be with stick straight hair, a very no nonsense attitude. The makeup will also be like a sharp winged liner, sharp eyebrows, clean skin. But has another horoscope, which is very like Cancer. She was portrayed as a very soft person, which means the hair was left very loose and very
Okay.
soft. So character creation comes in this. When you're trying to show someone as a very soft person or a very like cutthroat person or as a fun character, you want to show them with bouncy curly hair, something like that. So hair, makeup, all of this really plays a big role when it
Okay,
comes
okay.
to character creation, when it comes to bringing the director's vision to reality.
Okay. So you're telling that you have to read between the lines and
It's
be
so
familiar with the
important. Yes,
script.
it's so important to read between the lines and to ask a lot of questions. If you don't ask the questions, you're not going to know what to anticipate. So, if you have seen
But will you
movies,
have that level of time to ask the.
you have to make that time.
Okay.
You cannot wait to be like, okay, it's not my time to talk. It's not my time to. No, you have to
Okay.
step in and be like, do you want this? Do you want that? If you're not going to be that kind of person, you're going to waste their time and your time. If you're not going to ask the important questions, no one else will do it for you. And
Correct.
in some cases, they'll also be like, it's not my job to guide you everywhere. But if you don't ask the questions, you won't know where to be guided.
Correct. Correct.
Because some people fall in line only when they. So basically, like if your aesthetics meet, it's easy to work. But in some cases, your aesthetics might not meet, but you might know the right questions to ask, and then you can take it along
Correct.
that way.
Correct. So you have a series called Build a Bride, right?
Yes.
So in that, I feel like you kind of revealed everything, whatever products you use, whatever process you do. So won't that create you a competition, or someone can copy that and recreate the same look, right?
Yes. I loved doing the Build a Bride series. I actually stopped because I had a few clients who weren't okay with being filmed, and
Okay.
privacy is important when
Yeah.
it comes to any kind of scenario. Now, in Build a Bride, I did put out very detailed process steps and product knowledge and all of that as to why I'm doing a certain step, why I'm using a certain product. And I think it's important because I learned through YouTube. I learned through Instagram.
Correct.
So why not teach another generation or even the past generation, because they need to be updated
Okay.
too. Why not teach them and tell them, hey, you can use these products like this. This is the technique I'm using. Because as much as I'm putting out there, they still won't have my brain or my essence when it
Exactly.
comes to creating the look. And gatekeeping is not fun. Gatekeeping is not cool. as much as you can help them, help another person know what products to
Correct.
use, what techniques to use, and all of that. So I'm just completely fine with giving out all my secrets
Correct.
because it's not really that secretive.
Okay.
It's makeup.
Because
It's
I
not
feel
that
like
deep.
even the other person have the same access to the YouTube. If they see the
Exactly.
same access to the products also.
Exactly. You have it, it's very similar to saying, I want to buy this dress from H&M. Okay, I have the same 900 rupees. I can buy the same thing, but I'm going to choose to go to Zara. So
Hmm.
it's really a very personal choice.
Correct. Correct.
If I'm going to go through YouTube, or if I'm going to try thinking of it in my own head,
Hmm.
or if I'm going to go to Instagram and see another specific artist and
Hmm.
see their work, it's really up to you, your aesthetic and all of that. So I might have the same products as one of the leading artists, but my technique might be so
So
very
different.
different.
Correct.
And that's completely fine
Hmm.
because one thing with artistry is it's not very easy to change your technique of art.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like asking someone who does oil paintings to do sculptures suddenly.
Correct. Correct.
Not everyone's comfortable making that change. Some
Hmm.
of them are.
Hmm.
And in my opinion, it is so essential to be versatile as an artist, to know how to use every specific medium,
Correct.
at least to know it, not to
Hmm.
be the best at it, to just know it is
Hmm.
important.
Okay. There was this trend of airbrush makeup. So now I don't think that many makeup artists do airbrush makeup. So what is the difference of doing airbrush makeup versus a regular makeup?
Um, the first part of what you said that caught my ear
Hmm.
was trend.
Okay. That's not
Trends come and go,
okay.
but the essence of the product or the essence of the technique will always stay.
Hmm.
So there was a trend of like squiggly brows,
Okay.
but it depends on what you're going to pick from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to concentrate on eyebrows, there's different types of eyebrows that you can create, like either the full, like the fluffy eyebrow, or
Hmm.
a full block eyebrow, or the gradient eyebrow,
Hmm.
and all that. So when it comes to makeup, when it comes to base, there was bulletproof makeup, stormproof makeup,
Okay.
waterproof makeup, and all of that. But at the end of the day, it's all foundation, it's all ingredients, it's all techniques that's used. Even when it comes to airbrush makeup versus traditional makeup, airbrush makeup is basically using the gun.
Hmm.
You have pure pigment that
Hmm.
can be poured. Now, when I say pure pigment, it's basically a very fine particle sized product. So you
Hmm.
can't use normal MAC foundation
In that machine.
like in the Temp 2 machine or the
Hmm.
Kryolan machine, because the particle size is not small enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you use these specific products made for the specific machines, the output you get is, it varies. You can either have very heavy makeup or
Hmm.
very light makeup.
Okay.
Airbrush is very light makeup because it's a very thin layer of makeup that you're
Mm-hmm.
just spraying on. The intensity of it varies on the artist. So if
Okay.
you're going to hold the gun too close to you, you'll get a much more
Mm-hmm.
concentrated amount of product, versus if you're going to go very lightly over it, you'll get very light amount of product. So when we use airbrush, I use it on set for makeup when it comes to celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
because they want their skin to be visible.
Mm-hmm.
So you do spot concealing, and then you go with a light layer of airbrush. And when it comes to airbrush makeup, you're not setting it the way you would set traditional makeup,
Okay.
where with traditional makeup you apply foundation, concealer, powder.
Mm-hmm.
Here you use a lot more sprays to make sure it dries down. You give it time to dry down in the skin,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would use like a powder or like a sealant.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the output you want.
Okay.
If you want a dewy finish, you would traditionally not use that many powders. You're using more of a glowy, dewy spray and all
Okay.
of
Okay.
that.
Mm.
So again, it really depends on formula. When it comes to airbrush makeup, also similar to traditional makeup, there's oil-based, alcohol-based, and water-based
Okay.
makeup.
Mm.
Now, and silicone-based makeup, right? So even in your traditional makeup, if it's like a liquid cream powder
Mm.
product, you have oil-based, cream-based,
Correct.
silicone-based, and all of that. The same thing in
Is
airbrush
there.
makeup is there. But the only difference is in airbrush makeup, you also have access to alcohol-based.
Okay.
Alcohol-based makeup is used mostly for special effects makeup,
Ah, okay.
because you can activate only with 99% alcohol, not with any other type of alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, is there any type of skin that you will suggest, or is it really depend on the makeup that you're going to do? This airbrush makeup,
No,
not based on the
it's
type.
completely fine for everyone, but
Mm.
for sure, it's sprayed on makeup,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you have a lot of facial hair, like if someone has a beard, and if I'm
Mm.
going to spray the beard, it's going to be visible on the beard.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
with for some girls who have PCOS,
Mm-hmm.
PCOD, or who have facial hair, if I airbrush onto their peach fuzz, it's going to be visible as a layer on
Okay.
their
Okay.
skin.
Mm-hmm.
So I would prefer not doing it on them. I would do it on surfaces which are a little more smoother.
Mm-hmm.
But it is possible. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just that the look you want, you might not
Might not
get.
get it. Okay. And when I see your profile, you carry yourself very well. So, how important do you think that is for a makeup artist?
I think it's quite important
Mm.
because the first impression you get is the last impression, and you're going to judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
If you're not going to look good, how
Mm.
can I trust that you're going to make the other person
Person
look
look good.
good? It doesn't all, to an extent, it matters as to
Mm.
how you look, but it really largely is about the way you carry yourself,
Mm.
your personality, the confidence with which you show up to work, and all of that.
Mm.
You don't have to look like the most expensive person in the room, or
Okay.
you don't have to look like the, but you need to look clean,
Mm.
you need to look approachable, and you need to look like you know your stuff.
Correct.
Because if you're not confident and if you're not coming from a place of just being available to the
Mm.
person, because when it's bridal makeup, it's one of the most important days of their life.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you make them feel comfortable,
Mm.
and you're not walking in there with like your designer bags or this thing, or you're not walking in there very messy.
Mm.
You
Mm.
have to come there, be clean, be hygienic, be neat, make sure the work is done, make sure they feel very comfortable in their skin,
Mm.
with their outfit, and it's not like their makeup is wearing them or their outfit is wearing them. It should be them on their most important day,
Mm.
wearing the makeup, wearing the outfit, feeling comfortable, feeling cool, collected, and calm, because they're handling so many things, they're handling so many emotions within themselves.
Mm.
So if you're not going to show up in a good manner, if you're going to come with a lot of emotional baggage to the space, you're going to ruin the entire experience for everyone.
For someone else, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So how do you handle when you burn out?
Oh, burnout is so real.
Mm.
I used to think that it wasn't real. I'd be like, you're just applying makeup, or you're just turning on the
Mm.
camera and taking a video. What do you mean burnout? Like it's the easiest thing in the world. No, it's
It is real. Yeah.
so real. I'll tell you why, as an artist,
Mm.
burnout is real. I'm standing in front of someone. Now, if it's an actor, it's very different
Mm.
because actors, people don't realize, have to strip themselves down to be molded by the director or writer into
Okay.
whatever they have to be for their character, right? That means they are so very emotional. They have to, like, the director will say cry, they have to cry.
Exactly.
They'll say get angry, they have to get angry, which means their emotions are literally at the brim. You have to be so neutral and a very calm space for them
Mm.
to be able to either run lines when they're doing it or handle the manager coming and saying something. So you have to just be there doing the work, taking input from them, giving them also input. You shouldn't just be there taking input. You should also give them input and tell them, I think this would look good. I don't think that would look good. Because from a third person's point of view, something might look good to them. They might be comfortable with doing like a cat eyelash.
Mhm.
But if it doesn't look good for the character, you have to put that down too. But you can't be very haughty about it. You can't
Correct.
say,
This is
this
true.
doesn't work.
Mm.
No.
Mm.
You should be like, I don't think this works. Why don't we try another option? So you need to come in a very like gentle manner
Correct.
too. When it's bridals, they are so stressed and it's very draining. It's so draining as a celebrity artist or as a bridal artist because you're on your feet all day, or even if you're sitting on a chair and doing makeup, you're taking another person's energy. They're giving it to you and you have to take it in. You have to do the work. You're taking in the entire room's energy also.
Mm.
You might not realize it, but there have been so many times where I've driven away from set or from work after a long day and I've just burst out crying and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying. But it's
Okay.
because how tiring it is. It's not physically too tiring, but it's just emotionally. You're just
Mentally
taking in-
exhausted.
it's really, the mental exhaustion is crazy and people
Mm.
don't realize this because people are usually used to seeing the social media aspect of it, which is very
Mm.
glamorous, which is very fun. No one is going to notice when you post a burnout because there are artists who post their burnouts and people just like, they'll just skip it.
Correct.
People might post about their anxiety. You're just going to skip it because you don't want to go through that. You don't want to see that in some cases.
Mm.
But it's so very real and you need to take that time to just relax and find and center yourself and go do whatever you feel is important. It could be something as simple as just going and hugging your dog or going and hugging your mom or just taking like a day to yourself to relax. You need that. Otherwise, the burnout is going to show in your work.
Correct. Correct.
It's going to show in your work where you're going to be impatient to move. Like you'll be like, I finished the work, I just want to leave.
Mm.
It could show up like that or it could show up as bad work. So yeah, bad ethics or bad work is what it'll show up as and you don't
Okay,
want that
okay.
to happen.
As you said, I've noticed this with the artists who are in front of the camera. Even if you tell a small thing, it will hit them in an emotional way.
Yes.
That you should be very careful in
Yes.
conveying whatever you tell.
It's so important because I've worked with actresses or even actors where the production assistant or the director will say something to them which is completely unnecessary. They might pass a remark and it
It'll
really
spoil
hits
the
them very
entire
deep.
mood. Yeah.
They have lost one entire day of shoot because of that, because the actor, they're going to internalize it. In some places, yes, they're seasoned enough to know where to
Mm.
draw the line. But in some cases, the fresher, newer ones, they don't know where to draw the line, and it really affects them. And you need to know to be kind to everyone.
Correct,
At the
correct.
end of the day, you really have to be kind to everyone. And if you're not going to come from that place, remove yourself from the situation. You don't
Mm.
have to say everything that comes to your mind. Remove yourself from that situation is all that it takes.
So let's talk about the payment culture which is existing. So how is it
Wonderful
for you?
topic.
How is
Yeah,
it for you in makeup industry?
I am a freelancer. That
Okay.
means I don't have a manager. I don't have
Mm.
someone who's going to continuously follow you up for the payments.
Then how do you handle the delayed
When it
payment?
comes to
Mm.
production units, there is usually a 60-day, very grueling
Mm.
credit period you have to wait for. And then they delay that even further because
Yeah, of
they'll be
course.
like, actually, this project is tabled, or
Mm.
this project, the payment hasn't come in from the producers, or we've had issues with this, that, and all that. And I'm like, that's not my issue. I
Mm.
came, I did the work, pay me. When it comes to bridals, I did have a like phase where I did contracts and all of that.
Mhm,
And
mm.
trust me, when it comes to contracts, when it comes to the movie industry, it doesn't always stand up. There was a phase where I did
Even then,
contracts.
even if you had contract also, it tends
It
to fail.
doesn't stand up, and
Okay.
that really it's horrible.
Mm.
And following up with production is even more horrible
Mhm.
because there have been times where the production unit completely changes in one movie.
Okay.
Halfway through, there'll be another production house that steps in,
Mm.
and then that gap over there means you have to be in touch with both these things. And I hate saying this, but as a woman makeup artist, men in the production industry don't like talking to me.
Oh,
And
okay.
it sucks. If there's females, they're great to speak to. Not all the men in the production units I've worked with,
Are very
no,
welcoming.
not welcoming. They
Mm.
won't even look me in the eye and speak to me.
Mhm,
They'll
mhm.
just disregard me. I'll be in the room. They'll speak to the director or they'll speak to someone else.
Oh, that's
Men.
so bad.
They will
Okay.
not speak to me. Or
Mm.
even if they speak to me, they'll be like, yeah, okay. That's it. I can feel it from their energy that they don't want me in the room. They're uncomfortable. And it's in such cases that I'll make sure I'm in the room and making them more uncomfortable because I'm like, what do you mean?
Mm.
Why are you so uncomfortable with me being there doing work
Mm.
that they've asked me to do? Pay me. That's it. It's that simple.
Mm.
Negotiations run this way. And if they're not comfortable with it, they'll literally just replace you with another man or with another female with
Okay.
another man because it's easier to speak to a man in their things.
Then at that
Um,
case, what about your payment then when you are getting replaced and all?
Oh no, that'll be much before.
Okay,
So that'll
okay.
be
Mm.
during negotiations.
Oh,
So
while
that's even
negotiating,
before the
okay.
project
Mm.
kicks off or anything like that. Then when it comes to bridal, right now
Mm.
it's much easier because I make sure I take 99% of the payment before I
Mm.
show up, and then the rest is after the service.
Okay.
I stopped doing clients where they're like, "Can I just pay you after?" And I'm like, "No,"
Okay.
because I am not. I'm not very good at I'm not fast at counting cash. If they give me cash, I'm like, please, I have taxes to pay. I have things to handle. Just put it in my account. Let my finance team handle it. I can't go through this
Mm.
thing of sitting and
Correct,
counting
correct.
cash and handling this and that. So
And you are walking in with an uncertainty, right? When that is the case.
no, I feel like it's not just when it comes to payments. This
Mm.
entire job is a very uncertain thing
Okay.
because when a person books you for a shoot or for a bridal
Mm.
job, I don't have any more details than the fact that they reached out to me on Instagram
Mm.
or through WhatsApp.
Correct, correct. Where
And
do you find this person if they disappear somewhere?
exactly, they're not giving you their Aadhaar card or their passport or
Okay.
any of that.
Mm.
And Indian government or the police, they don't really care much for the fact that you're not
Mm.
getting paid 10,000 or 50,000 or even a lakh. They don't care.
Right.
They'll just be like, sort it out yourselves. But at the same time, if
Mm.
if it was in Dubai, you
Dubai,
know
I don't think you can do
you
that.
can't mess around too much. You
Yes,
can
yes,
be
yes.
like, I went, I did the work, here's the proof. I need the payment. They have not
Correct,
given me
correct.
the
I
payment
felt
yet.
the safest when I was in Dubai.
Exactly.
Mm.
But over here, it's not like that. The
Mm.
police will just be like, sort it out yourselves, pay me the money for the fact that I came and stood there. And I'm speaking from experience that I've been in such situations where I've had to pay the police off for absolutely nothing, just for the fact that they came and stood over there.
Mm.
But yeah, payments really suck. Especially if you're a beginner makeup artist. So I
Yeah.
tell all my students, get the payment before.
Mm.
Or make sure you get more details from the client
Mm.
than just their name and number.
Okay.
Get another person's number. You're not asking for too much, by the way, when you ask for another person's
Correct.
number and all of that. You're coming there, you're doing a job. It's very simple. It's as simple as that. And most of your work is on social media. Post so much on social media that people know that you're reliable.
Correct. So we have some questions from our viewers. Okay. How do you decide what formulation works for a skin, and how important is it to know the formulation?
It's quite important as an artist to know
Mm,
what products you're working with,
mm,
because there was a time
mm,
where they would say if you have a matte makeup look, it's only for oily skin.
mhm,
If they have normal to dry skin, you want to go for a dewy look.
mm,
If you have oily skin, you have to use this kind of products. If you have dry skin, you have to use, yes, to an extent, that's correct.
mm,
But it's really not something that you can spoon feed. It's not a formula.
mm,
Um, it really is experience. When you go and meet the person,
mm,
there's so much more to them than
mm.
just the oily layer on their skin. It also
Correct.
depends on, do they sweat easily?
Mm,
Do they have facial hair? Do they have certain features they want to cover up or certain features they want to enhance? All of that matters. Because if someone tells me, I don't want my cheeks to look this big, that means you have to use products
mm,
that will not only colors but also texture. Um, Texture wise, it like
mhm.
makes sure the skin looks a
Okay.
certain way that it doesn't attract, like it doesn't reflect too much light.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, it is important to know your ingredients. It is important to know your products,
Okay.
but it's not a formula that I can just give out like that. It's really experience. You work, and then you'll be like, okay, this
It.
works for some people, that works with some people, because in some cases, a person can have amazing skin, but
Mm,
makeup just does not sit on them very well.
mhm, mm.
On some people, they might not have like look like they have good skin, but makeup sits beautifully on them.
Mm.
It sits so very nicely that when
Okay.
you take photos, it looks amazing.
What is the deciding factor? Why?
It really is just skin.
Okay.
It comes down to skin, and everyone has different
Different
skin.
skin.
Some
Okay.
people have facial hair, some people don't have facial hair, some people have peach fuzz, some people have scars,
Mm, mm.
some people have poreless, flawless skin, and the makeup just doesn't sit very well on them. They'd be like, "No, I applied this makeup."
It's so
Actually,
flawless that the makeup doesn't skin.
it's like dolphin skin. Like when you
Okay.
apply something on dolphin skin, it doesn't stick, right? So you have to
Okay.
create that by
Mm,
using
mm,
primers.
mm,
So that's why it's important to know
mm,
your ingredients and your products. Because if they have very soft, smooth skin, you'll be like, "Oh my god, would love to work on this person's skin."
mm.
You don't know that it's actually going to be much harder to create
Correct.
a look on them
Mm,
just because they have great skin.
mm, mm,
But someone who has like texture or anything, the makeup might look amazing on them. And
mm.
at the end of the day, where are you seeing all this makeup? You're seeing it on social
Social
media.
media. Correct.
You're looking at it with specific lighting. You're looking
Mm,
at it with filters in some
correct.
cases,
Mm,
or with edits. Some people face tune their videos. A lot of
mm.
people actually face tune their videos, which really
Okay.
sucks. But now this all depends on what you're looking at it. So if
Mm,
you're going to see on social media, you're going to be like, I want this kind of look. You as an artist,
correct.
as an artist, know what's gone into that. I
Mm,
know it's the
mm,
same as when a hairstylist will be look at a photo and be like, this is AI.
mm,
That hairstyle is not real, that's AI, it's edited. The same way I can look and be like, this is not real. Not only that it's not real, they've used pink here, but pink might not suit you.
so,
I'll have to use purple for it to look like pink on you. So
mm.
that's why it's really important to know not just your products and formulas, but your colors also.
Okay. Okay. That's actually my next question. How important is the color theory in
Color
making?
theory is so important.
Mm,
It doesn't matter if you're just a makeup artist, it's for hairstyle, it's for designers, it's for everyone. If you don't know what colors work complementary or contrast to each other, you can't have an eye for aesthetic. You
okay.
really need to know what suits the person,
Mm,
what will show up as a specific color on a person. Because in some cases, even eye color matters,
mm,
hair color matters. Someone with dark hair and light eyebrows, the way the makeup sits on them will be so different because you're trying to create a balance in the
mm,
face,
mm,
right? If you have light eyebrows, if you're going to go darker with the lip, there's going to be a balance that's
okay.
going to be
Mm,
created, but you need to also match that with the way the cheeks look.
mm,
Otherwise, that one specific feature is going to stick out. Similar to how when you have the Grammys or certain awards, and you have Miley Cyrus showing up with the no eyebrow look.
mm, mm,
They've
mm.
bleached the eyebrows, but you don't see in all cases that there's like a bold lip. There's always a balance that's created
Okay.
either
Okay.
with the hair or with the outfit or all of that.
Mm,
So, as a makeup artist, you need to understand aesthetics, and that's so very important. You can teach yourself, or you innately have that eye for aesthetic.
okay.
Teaching yourself basically means you go through, you scour the internet, you scour magazines and all of that, and you see what works with what. You don't just look at an image and you're like, wow, that's such a pretty photo. No, you look at the fact that
Mm,
this is the color used. Look at how far the blush is taken.
correct.
Look at how far the eyebrow is drawn or
Mm,
how
mm,
fluffy the eyebrow is. What's the color used? It's not just black. There's
okay.
shades of brown used. What's
Mm,
the eyeshadow color? What's the lip color? It's a gradient lip. So you have to do this research. You have to
mm,
have that eye for it.
okay. What is your opinion on celebrity endorsed product and celebrity endorsed brands?
So celebrity endorsed brands versus
I
celebrity
also have this one.
owned
Sorry for
brands.
interrupting. So I also have this doubt. Do you think there is a gap in the market these celebrities are trying to fill it? or they want to just commercialize it?
Um, that's a very loaded question. There isn't really much of a gap in the market when it
Mm,
comes to skincare and makeup, when
mm,
it comes to celebrities endorsing or making their own brands.
mm,
But what I would say, because I've worked with celebrities and their brands, not just Nine Skin,
mm,
but when it comes to certain things, right? What I would love to see, what I've also told like the people who work at these brands is, if it's a celebrity with a signature look,
mm.
why not come up with makeup that caters to that,
Correct,
right?
correct.
So Nayanthara for her iconic eyeliner
Mm,
and for her bronzer and that glow. If she came out with a makeup line for that, I would eat that up. People would love that.
mm,
Skin is amazing.
mm,
Nine Skin is amazing because she's known for that glowy, dewy skin.
mm,
She has
mm,
products that cater to that. But give me makeup that
mm,
makes, like, you know how they say it's during a recession that lipstick prices and lipstick sales rise and all of that. Makeup is the most accessible way to get to a brand.
mm,
So
mm.
you have Dior, Chanel, and all of that. The easiest thing you can buy from
From
these
Dior
brands
is, yeah.
is makeup.
Okay.
So the same way, the easiest way you can access a celebrity is through their skincare and makeup
Mm,
lines, or through very, very rarely through the food lines, like how Ranveer Singh and Deepika
correct.
Padukone and all
Mm,
do it, but mostly through skincare and makeup.
mm,
Why? Because you're seeing that person, you know how they look, you know how their skin is, how their makeup is, and all that. So when you want to look like them, or you want to feel like you look like them, or something like that,
mm,
you would go for their makeup. You're not gonna, yes, their outfits, like how Samantha has Saki and all of that.
mm,
Yes, the outfits are great, but you don't always see her in one outfit. But
mm.
if I see a celebrity, they have a signature makeup look,
Okay,
and I want to
correct.
look like that person. I
Mm.
really like the way the eyeliner is or the lipstick is. That's why K by Katrina is doing so well, because
Okay.
she knows what she's doing,
Mm,
and she's known to do her own makeup in her movies and her
mhm,
songs and all of that.
mm,
So when she comes out with makeup, I know that's reliable. I know the colors work great because she's tested it, she's tried it. She wears her own makeup for her shoots and
mm,
all of that.
mm,
That's great. Even when it's skincare, when it's 82 East for Deepika Padukone,
mm,
you know it's great products.
mm.
But as a makeup artist, as a seasoned makeup artist, I'll always have that skeptic eye of being like, do you actually know the ingredients of these products?
Correct, correct.
Because
Mm,
at the end of the day, you are also an actress.
mm.
You're not a scientist. You're not all this thing.
You
So
don't know
if
the technical
you
side
don't
of
know the
it.
technical side of it, but in some cases you don't need to.
Mm,
You can
mm,
also be just a brand user
mm,
and be like, I like the way this product
mm,
works, and I want other people to have access to it too.
mm,
And again, these all fall in different price brackets.
mm,
You have Hyphen by Kriti Sanon, which is easily accessible to everyone.
mm,
And then you have 82 East, which is a little more expensive.
mm.
You have other brands also that are way more expensive than all
Mm.
of this. But it depends on what you're catering to, who
Correct.
you're catering
Mm.
to.
So, what are your favorite celebrity endorsed brand?
I really like Rhode Skin Glazing Milk,
Okay.
Hailey Bieber.
Oh, okay.
That's a great product.
Mm,
And I don't know if she owns this
mm,
or if she just endorsed it, but Alia Bhatt in India has this Indian grown brand called Dew.
mhm,
She
mm,
doesn't have it, but she did use their products and
mm,
speak about it, and it really went really famous.
mm,
So the Dew serum is
mm.
really nice, and I really like that.
Okay. So, very few people in this industry will share every knowledge they have, and they won't gatekeep, and they tend to share everything. You're one of them, and I feel like if you're very confident about your craft, you can share a lot about your craft. So, thank you for sharing, and thank you for coming to our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was really nice having this conversation.
Thank you so much. So, thank you for watching this episode till the end. Subscribe to watch more guests like this on our show. And please do let us know if you have any questions for upcoming makeup artists. We'll be on our show soon. See you.